You want to do this? Watch what I do, and then I'm going to give you some pens, okay? Are you ready? What a nice picture this is, huh, Governor? You ready? We'll do a good job. Wait, let me press that. I want to make this a really good signature because this is, this is a big one, right? Oh, I think we have a 10. We have a 10.
God bless you, Mr. President.
Pretty good, huh? I see that. Okay? Good. Now you're going to go out and win those events, right? Good. Nice to see you all. Great going, everybody. Nice to see you. Thank you, kids. Here. Take a pen.
Thank you.
I'll give some of these out, okay? Take a pen. Take a pen.
Thank you so much.
Hello， 大家好，我是利恩。2025年2月6号呢，美国总统川普在白宫椭圆形办公室正式签署了禁止跨性别男进入女子运动的行政命令。那你可能会觉得有点好奇哈，我们不是之前在1月15号的时候才做过影片，讲到美国众议院通过了美国境内禁止跨性别者进入女子运动比赛的法案吗？没有错啊，我跟大家稍微简单说明一下，因为美国的立法的流程有一点复杂，就是说当众议院通过一项法案的时候呢，它还需要经过参议院的审议和通过，最后交由总统签署成为法律。之前有一个观众留言还跟我说，这个法案并没有通过参议院都还没有决定啊。其实不是的众议院这边通过的叫做法案bill， 但是法案不等于立成法律不等于立法，就像我这样说明，大家比较清楚所以呢，法案通过了，但是还要交由参议院审议以及同意，才能够最后交给总统进行签署，成为正式的法律。换句话说，你如果参议院没有通过这项法案，或者说总统不同意在参议院这边所通过的审议呢，那么都无法完全成为法律。好，那这个法案现在就已经进入送交给参议院审议了。为什么美国总统川普要在这个时间跳出来，好像多此一举，多做了一个行政命令呢？这是因为总统签署的行政命令呢，它可以在法律还未通过之下，就可以让政府部门执行某些政策或规定。因为呢，有的时候法案要进入到参议院审议立法之前呢，可能还会要花上好一段时间，所以政府部门它如果要执行某些政策的话，那总统是可以先以行政命令的方式加速的。那当然通常来讲，也会有参议院去否决掉总统的行政命令，这样子的一种情况出现。好，所以呢，大家这样子就会知道，其实美国三权分立，它是有一个很严谨的互相制衡的机制这也是符合美国开国元勋的设计理念。那我们刚刚看到呢，川普这一项行政命令的签署呢，设计的很巧妙找了一群都是年轻的我也不知道是不是女运动员很明显的我感觉这个都有安排好都有特别挑过的。你会发现多半都是相对来讲颜值比较高的女孩子围在川普总统身边但是呢，场面确实也营造的相对的很温馨、很可爱。而且呢，也会有一种是为了保护孩子未来进入女子运动权益的公平性的这样的一个氛围那为了让我们来好好的纪念可能未来也许会走入历史的跨性别的运动赛事呢，今天给大家看一段特别的影片，那顺便呢回答一点观众的提问。当然，大部分的我的看法最精华的部分其实都已经在右上角之前做的这个分道扬镳里头已经出现过了，非常推荐大家再去看一次我里面的一些逻辑上的论述，会让你比较有更完整对于为何男女生理性别来区分运动比赛是有其必要性，也有其意义的。好，那就先让我们一起来看吧。
transgender MMA fighter has said she wants a license to fight in California.
A biological male has just become the first transgender person to win a world title in cycling.
First transgender weightlifter winning her maiden international event as a woman.
A biological male winning a gold medal in a women's event now seems a matter of when, not if.
Since sports events began, men and women have been segregated by gender to make the competitive events fairer due to differences in muscle mass, innate strength, or testosterone levels. But nowadays, these physical differences no longer seem to be a determining factor.
There are all kinds of reasons that people have advantages. Somebody's parents can give them year-round training. Somebody else is really, really tall and someone's really, really short.
Sport has never been fair. You bought into that myth, so have a lot of other people. But let's face it, if I wanted to be a jockey, I couldn't be. Nature endows her gifts unevenly in society.
It's true that some physical characteristics give athletes an unusual advantage in sports, like Michael Phelps's long arms or Usain Bolt's height. But the genetic difference of being born as a male or female and competing with the opposite gender proved to be more of a determining factor than any bodily developments in sports.
If you go through puberty, you have all the benefits of having a male body. And even if you transition and reduce your testosterone, you're still going to have those benefits. You're going to have the bone structure, the slightly bigger heart, more red blood cells. So therefore, a female athlete competing against a transgender female is always going to be at a disadvantage.
Testosterone levels are important because the amount of the hormone defines the eligibility of athletes to compete whenever sporting events are limited to a single sex, following IAAF rulings.
The idea that we need to protect women's or female sport from other women and females is itself inherently discriminatory. No testosterone policy will ever work.
Male to female athletes no longer need to have reassignment surgery, but they do need to demonstrate that their testosterone levels have been below 10 nanomole per litre for at least 1 year, according to the 2016 International Olympic Committee guidelines.
It's not saying you're a man or a woman. It's saying you can compete. It's a matter of eligibility to participate in certain competitions.
In the case of female to male athletes, they can compete without restrictions.
But 10 nanomoles per litre, as I understand it, something like 90% of female athletes, their testosterone levels are around 3 nanomoles per litre. So in other words, this upper limit is 3 times what would be typical in a female athlete. So it seems like a kind of arbitrary setting unrelated to the realities of the situation.
Well, I actually agree with you there.
But what happens with student athletes who decide to change their gender? Well, the rules are not clear at all. Most countries don't have clear regulations. And the biggest student sports organization in the US, the NCAA, does not require gender confirmation or a legal recognition of a player's transition sex in order for transgender players to participate on a team that matches their identity, at least 1 year of hormone treatment prior to competing on a female team. In the middle of all this legal mess, Zuby, a UK-based rapper, basically identified as a female and broke British women's weightlifting records.
Saying, look, I'm not a professional powerlifter, but even I myself, I can stroll into the gym on any given day and I can break the British women's bench press record. I can break the British women's deadlift record. When I'm on form, I could potentially break the British female squat record. And I don't even compete.
So if you're a woman and you're a natural woman and you don't take any extra hormones or male hormones, you're not taking steroids or any sort of performance enhancing drugs, you're doing your very best to compete and you're at the top of the heap. But then someone comes along that was a man for 30 years and decides that they're going to be a woman, and this has happened, and literally transitioned a few months ago and competes as a woman and destroys records and dominates you in that sport. That's bullshit.
过去加拿大一个积极在奥运会、奥委会里头提倡跨性别可参赛的一个研究者呢，他都承认说，男女先天的骨质密度，好，那更不要说是骨骼的一个长短呢，都很大的程度有所不同。哈伯特他的研究啊，也发现出一件事情，就是说呢，尽管啊做了这个所谓的荷尔蒙疗法，那尽管做了3年，也就是36个月，可是，在跨性别女性，她的净体重跟她的肌肉重呢，是仍然会高于出生时先天女性的人。换句话说，荷尔蒙疗法它只能够去影响睾固酮浓度的表现，它没有办法去改变你的生理结构。那在没有办法改变生理结构的情况下呢，有一些运动比赛，它一定会显得不可能完全公平。那你会发现，我们刚刚在影片里就看到一个左派论点，就很喜欢说，那每个人先天都是不同的啊，就凭什么说就算是女生一起比，男生一起比，那就是公平的呢？对吧？就好像说，你如果今天跟姚明打篮球，那恐怕你穷极自己一辈子再怎么努力，终究不可能赢过他嘛，因为他先天的身高的优势就是比你高很多嘛。对啊，这个当然合理，没有错啊。可是这样子是模糊掉一个最简单的前提，就是所有的人们都愿意服从在一个自然律之下。先天的东西它终究不可能完全公平，但也因为是先天，所以大家愿意允许这个不公平，因为它就是合乎自然嘛。那明明跨性别者，你是一个动了手术，好，从男转女这样的一个身份呢，那凭什么说你这样的人为的方式就反而是可以代替先天呢？所以运动比赛的公平性从来就不是指先天是否公平，这个是3岁小孩子在幼稚园里面跑步都知道的事情。老师说谁要去代表班上比田径的，大家一定都会选择那个跑得最快的。老师问说谁要代表班上去打篮球比赛，很多人都一定会先选高的嘛。好，这都是很正常的一件事情。但是人们愿意服从在自然的条件之下，也就是自然的不公平。原本最早过去的奥林匹克运动赛是没有男女分开的，后来会分别出来，都其实是为了保障女性能够更积极的愿意表达所谓运动家精神，肯定那些为了这一个运动的技能而终其一生在默默耕耘努力的这些伟大的运动选手，他背后所代表的辛苦与毅力。我也曾经收过观众留言呢，也说啊，笑死了。那这么多的比赛，好比说像电竞、电玩比赛，或者是围棋比赛、下棋，从来就没有区分男女性别，为什么这些比赛都能够允许男女混合，你偏偏运动类的就又不行？
人家不是这一套。
就来好好的回答一下也算是科普一下。第一个我们要知道男女的差异性到底有没有先天差异，这个不是用平均值去认定的。其实乔老爷子就说，在很多的男女的研究比较上面呢，如果要看到是否具有显著差异，我们要看的是极端值的这一个人群，不是用大众全部去做平均去看。如果你用大众全部平均去看，你当然会觉得好像你生活周遭里头力气比你大、跑得比你快、长得比你高的女生也很多嘛，对吧？但是并不是这样的。我们如果是在极端光谱的这一群人的时候，你会发现到男女不光是身高，不光是骨骼密度，不光是所谓的先天肌肉量，都会有很显著的巨大差异，这是肯定的。就好像刚刚影片当中有一个黑人小哥，他自己就自愿先把他的性别标示成女生，然后他就发现说，如果按照以女人标准来讲的话，他自己就已经可以打败许多世界的女子纪录保持人这就是一个很直接的例子。而运动比赛最后我们比的当然是看最极端值的前3名，没有人在看中间值的一个平均差异。运动比赛他看的本来就是一群人里面最极端、最显著优秀的，所以当然要以极端值去看。我们永远不可能自欺欺人，逃避说先天男女在生物性别上面是没有差异的，对吧？甚至 Jordan Peterson 小老爷子也曾经表示过说，如果你把极端值去看的话，在心理学都可以看出女性的随和度或者说服从性，它就是比男性高。为什么监狱里头的犯人男性会偏大多数，而女性相对会少？ 这就是因为从极端的一群人去看的话，其实男性多半是不随和的，好，也就是比较呢不愿意去配合他人的，而这一点都可以反映出在犯罪比率上面。所以这个就是男女先天一定会有的差异。那再来就是说，为什么在电竞、电玩或者是棋类运动这种竞赛项目当中，反而目前没有人严格的去把他们做男女区隔？这就是因为在智力的极端值测验当中，发现到分别性非常的微小，所以很难去显著判断男女是否在智力智能上面有显著差异。这样了解我意思吗？我再换一个角度讲，更简单更明白了。如果说假设男女真的在智力上面 IQ 上面有明显差异的话，那大学联考也不用一视同仁啊，那是不是男子或女子应该个别给予加权值呢？但是没有错，男性确实理工、科学、逻辑、推理能力会相对在极端值上确实是显著存在，而女性多半在情感、感知类，还有情绪、对话、互动上面的能力在极端值上也会比男性要更为卓越。但是今天如果是像下棋以及像电竞这一类的时候，它里面很复杂，它不是一个简单的奥林匹亚数学竞赛，它里面包含的是逻辑、推理以及心理层面，综合这些因素，会使得这一些的竞赛里头，它在男女的分别性上不够显著，有到人们需要把它做男女区隔。所以呢，我简单的这回应呢，希望让大家有一个更清楚的理解。那如果呢，以上我说的这些啊，还是没有办法让你觉得有什么不公平，到底凭什么就不能让跨性别者来参加女子比赛呢？好吧，看来我只好使出大绝招，用魔法攻击。2023年3月，加拿大运动员阿维希尔·佛伯格呢，报名参加了亚伯达省的女子举重比赛，以举起近45公斤的优势呢，轻松打破了该省的女子最高纪录，赢得了金牌。而这事件引发最大争议，是因为阿维希尔伯格呢本身上是一个男性，他只是心理性别自认自己是女性，而加拿大是非常左派，因此就允许他参加。而且他在比赛当中留着络腮胡，还穿着男装背心。而原本的纪录保持者啊，居然是一名跨性别运动员安德烈斯。安德烈斯就强烈批评阿维希尔伯格呢是怀有恶意参赛。这下子真的是踢到铁板，让 LGBTQ 团体也真的感受到了，看来生理性别先天差异还是很重要啊！是不是一个非常具体的用魔法打败魔法的比赛呢？如果跨性别者可以参加女子比赛的话，那心理性别认同自己是女性的男性可不可以参赛？那 LGBTQ 团体不是也主张心理性别认同自己是女人的也是女人吗？疯狂的事情早就已经在加拿大2023年就上演过了，到最后又变成了一个循环，是什么？又回到了男性可以跟女性吻合比赛了。哇，真的是，那是不是又成为了一个男性可以独霸所有运动赛事的情况呢？所以啦，为什么要那么看重先天生理性别？不光是因为人本来就是二元性别，更重要的就是当你对女性这个定义开始模糊的时候，那么男性就可以踏足女子运动赛事，这样走到最后，不就又回到了1900年以前的奥林匹克运动比赛吗？那最后呢，我们呢在川普总统呢针对这一次他所签署的行政命令呢，他发表了一段谈话，让我们一起来看他是怎么跟在场这么多的邀请进入白宫的女嘉宾呢，一起来表达他们对女子运动简单干净的一个支持吧。我们这边是超级神队友，我们就下部影片再见喽，拜拜。
Thank you very much. This is a nice crowd, isn't it, huh? You've been waiting a long time for this, but here we are. And this doesn't have to be long, it's just all about common sense. In a few moments, I'll sign a historic executive order to ban men from competing in women's sports. Under the Trump administration, we will defend the proud tradition of female athletes, and we will not allow men to beat up, injure, and cheat our women and our girls. From now on, women's sports will be only for women. But before going further, I want to share some very exciting news from our military. After years of shrinking force numbers at levels that nobody has ever seen before, 4 years of this we went through, and missed recruiting targets every single month, It was just announced that in December, the U.S. Army had its single best recruitment in more than 15 years. Every single day, nearly 350 new soldiers enlisted to defend our nation, and they're very, very happy to have done so. We've done lots of interviews, and we asked why this was taking place now, and they just said there's a spirit about our country that they haven't seen in many, many years. And I happen to agree with that. But it really is clear proof that the spirit is sweeping our armed forces, and we have a great leader in Pete. As you know, we all know Pete so well. He's going to be fantastic, and so many of our great heroes, and people are starting to understand what hero is all about. So that is something that is very important. We've gotten the woke lunacy out of our military. And now we're very importantly getting it out of women's sports. That's taking place very strongly. So in recent years, the radical left has waged an all-out campaign to erase the very concept of biological sex and replace it with a militant transgender ideology. You've heard a little bit about this, haven't you? Huh? Just a little bit? Does anybody agree with them? No. Would be not a good thing to say yes right here. Female athletes have been forced onto the front lines, and men claiming to be girls have stolen more than 3,500 victories, that's a lot, and invaded more than 11,000 competitions designed for women. Last year, a male cyclist posing as a woman competed in the 800-mile Arizona Trail Race, a very big deal in cycling, and obliterated the women's course record by nearly 5.5 hours. Sounds like a lot, doesn't it, huh? 5.5 hours, but you have to hear the weightlifting records. You think that's bad. The weightlifting's worse. In 2023, a man in women's powerlifting broke 2 world records and outlifted his closest female opponent in one event by 440 pounds. And they continue to defend themselves, Mr. Congressman. You know that, right? They continue to defend themselves. We hope they continue onward because I don't think we can lose a race. This was one of the big reasons that we all won, and it's one of the big reasons that we had a record, a landslide like they haven't seen before, very often anyway. And who could forget last year's Paris Olympics where a male boxer stole the women's gold medal after brutalizing his female opponent so viciously that she had to forfeit just after 46 seconds, and she was a championship fighter. And actually, they had 2 women or 2 people that transitioned, and both of them won gold medals, and they won them very convincingly. But all of that ends today because with this executive order, the war on women's sports is over. It should have been done long ago, actually. Thank you. Thank you very much. With my action this afternoon, we're putting every school receiving taxpayer dollars on notice that if you let men take over women's sports teams or invade your locker rooms, you will be investigated for violations of Title IX and risk your federal funding. There will be no federal funding. So this will effectively end the attack on female athletes at public K-12 schools and virtually all U.S. colleges and universities. I don't think we've missed anything, but if we do, we'll make it up very quickly with an order. America categorically rejects transgender lunacy. We want them to change everything having to do with the Olympics and having to do with this absolutely ridiculous subject that we even have to talk about this subject. If you went back 10 years or 15 years and you would move forward and listen to this, you'd say, what the hell are they talking about? This is impossible. But you have people out there, Democrats, that are still totally in favor. They can't win the argument. They can't win a debate. They look like fools, and they continue to go on. And it's okay, because as long as they do this and open borders and all of the other things they talk about, transgender everything, all they want to do is transgender and men playing in women's sports and all of these crazy things. And if they continue, I think we're going to end up ultimately, it's not going to matter because we're never going to go along with them and we're just going to keep winning elections. So when the Olympics comes to Los Angeles, I was responsible for getting the Olympics, and I said, oh boy, this is terrible because I got the Olympics and I won't be president. And then what happened is that in an election, strange things happened in an election. So I missed 4 years, and now I have the Olympics. It was sort of circuitous. It was a circuitous situation. And we also have the World Cup coming, which is going to be fantastic. And we have, as you know, very importantly, 250 years coming. That's a big one next year, so that's a very big one. But in Los Angeles in 2028, my administration will not stand by and watch men beat and batter female athletes, and we're just not going to let it happen, and it's going to end, and it's ending right now, and nobody's going to be able to do a damn thing about it because when I speak, we speak with authority. But the actions we're taking today are the latest in a sweeping effort to reclaim our culture and our laws from the radical left crusade against biological reality. On day one, I made it official, and I'm making it official policy of the United States government that there is, two genders. We have two genders. What might they be? Man and woman, right? Male and female. Male and female. Can't think of too many others, but it's pretty amazing. I rescinded federal funds to, and this is so important, to any program that promotes transgender ideology using taxpayer dollars. We're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. And last week, I effectively banned the chemical castration and surgical mutilation of minor children. Can you believe I even have to say that? I banned governor. I banned. That's just like, who would ever think we have to even say that? Last week, I banned. Every day, we're ending the extremism of the last 4 years. We have other things that are just as ridiculous, not having to do with the subject, but just as ridiculous. Open borders where people are allowed to pour in from all over the world, from jails and prisons and mental institutions and insane asylums, people that are very sick, people that are very evil, killers, murderers. Many of them murdered more than one person. And we have to justify the fact that we're moving them out. We are moving them out in tremendous numbers. Tom Homan and Christie are doing a fantastic job, and the governor and other governors too. But that we have to even fight for this stuff is just incredible. And the media doesn't want to talk about it because it's nothing they can talk about. It's just they just don't want to really talk very much about it. Serious problem, but we're doing a great job, and the people understand, and that's why we won in a landslide. They made it easy. And at some point, we have to hope they do come around because we can never let this happen again. What's happened to our country, we can never let this happen again. So we are restoring sanity and common sense very simply to our government. We're defending the rights and safety and pride of the American people, including our great, great, great female athletes. What athletes you are. I'm not allowed to say this politically. It could end my career. They're really beautiful people. These are beautiful people. But like everything else, it's a little bit different today. You're not allowed to say that because if you call a woman or a girl beautiful, that's the end of your career. But let's take a chance on it, Mike. Let's take a chance. So I want to thank everybody for being here. It's fantastic. And this is sort of a big, big day. It shouldn't have even been necessary to take place. This started a long time ago, and we ended it today. And I'm going to sign the executive order right now, and everything I said will go into effect immediately, okay? Thank you. If you'd like to gather around me, I think I'm going to be okay. Come on. Come on. Hello. Secret Service is worried about them. If we have to worry about them, we have big problems. Okay, do you want to do this? Watch what I do, and then I'm going to give you some pens, okay? Are you ready? What a nice picture this is, huh, Governor? You ready? We'll do a good job. Wait, let me press that. I want to make this a really good signature because this is, this is a big one, right? Oh, I think we have a 10. We have a 10.
God bless you.
Pretty good, huh? I see that. Okay? Good. Now you're going to go out and win those events, right? Good. Nice to see you all.
Yes, we know the cornerstone is Christ alone.